Alright, I think we're here. I think we're good. Ay. Godfrey pass, Godfrey SMASH! No! You're sick! Sick, I say! Oh god, of course, as soon as I come in here, it starts getting foggy. Howdy, Xavier. Good to see you. Hey, I am. Hope everybody in chat's doing alright. I'm not gonna do BGM today. I'm feeling tired today, chat. This was supposed to be a coffin stream, but I did not feel it. I don't know why. I'm just feeling sucked of energy suddenly. So I'm just like, okay. Okay. Let me just keep working, and now I'm like, okay, let me at least grab some screenshots then, so I can at least have a stream today. Hey, Nobre. Such a beautiful sky. Yeah, I know, right? I can't wait for my favorite lore content creator to analyze its deep cosmological meanings and if it's the wider narrative. No! That is never happening, Nobre. It isn't. Yeah, that your favorite content creator will do that will definitely be someone else, not anybody here. Oh god, did I already loot this? Oh crap. Do I have to change characters then? Yeah, I think I already looted this. Well, damn. I didn't realize the significance of the item I was looting until it was too late. Doing good. Try not to overdo it, though. Yeah, I'm trying not to. I don't know what it is today. I thought I slept pretty well, but for some reason I'm just feeling so sapped of energy. Alright, let's switch over, because clearly this character's not going to give me what I want. ABC! I choose you! Why the hell am I here? There we go. There we go. Get me to the proper place. Also, 1 second, chat. I'll be honest, chat. I'm tired of feeling like I have a goddamn leash on me. I need to get a wireless headset. I don't know what's a really good quality wireless headset, but whatever it is, I need to get it. I don't care what the benefits to a wired headset over it. I cannot stand having this wire setup the way it is right now. So either I have to fix up my wire setup so it's not as shitty as it is at the moment, or I just bite the bullet and pay for the new headset. Yeah, all that makes sense. And you, yeah, you're over here. Okay. In that case, let's do this then. Just so I don't have to worry about the... Actually, it's still a pretty decent distance you have to travel. Yeah, it's about equidistant. Wait for Loki to explain who planted the normal-ass trees in the Landgrave. What do you mean, normal-ass trees? What do you mean, normal-ass trees? Most of these trees are normal. What are we talking about here? I'm feeling gaslit now. Are we to see any mistaking Godric banners here while we wait? Nope. Get the PlayStation's wireless headset or the Corsair Void Elite one. I have both and love them, using the former on PC right now. Oh, okay. I'll have to take that into consideration. What is that? Corsair Void Elite. Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking maybe it's about time I upgrade my mic. Now that we have the new PC setup, it's like, okay, what's my lagging factor? And I'd probably say it's probably my mic. I'm still using the Yeti, which again, it's good and all, but I'm pretty sure even with all the filters and stuff, it could still be better. Plus, I'm tired of using these old manga I don't care for as the stand, so it can be, like, anywhere close to my mouth level. And even then, I still have to, like, lean myself over like I'm the Hunchback of Notre Dame in order to do it, and it's like, that's a bad habit. Well, except for the constantly being yellow, yes, except for that. But they're no... See, trees can be yellow, chat. What's wrong with a yellow tree? Okay, maybe they're not perpetually yellow most of the time, but come on! What's wrong with a tree in and of itself being yellow? Alright, we got what we wanted here, so, just in case you possibly get in the shot here. I don't think he is, but just in case, you never know. Yeah, it's better. Oh, the problem is that floating. I hate when I notice that stuff is that technically floating. It annoys me so much, Chad. You have no idea. Incorporated mic. Yeah, but the mics tend to be shitty on those, and I'd rather have a separate professional mic. Again, if I'm gonna be doing these streams every day, chat, like, I do want to make sure that I'm giving you guys better and better quality, right? Oh God, you are in the most awkward position. Why? Why is this banner here blocking an otherwise perfectly good shot? Damn, too high. There we are. I guess I'm just gonna have to accept that it's gonna be obviously floating. From stuff always lows for getting things floating slightly off the ground. You think they'd invent the technology to somehow make it so that way stuff would just automatically, like, you know, what's the word? I don't know, not like a magnet, but you know what I mean. Like, it would automatically, like, pin itself to the nearest other, surface texture, you know? At the very least, it would look more natural. Yellow trees are just trees, but yellow. But that's the problem. We discriminate. Yes, yes, we are the problem, clearly. It's not the trees. Yeah, I think this one looks better. Yeah. Alright. We've done what we could. So I can include... Oh! So I'm going to include that. I've been thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? I talk about, I added Great Mace discussion to the analysis on Altus Unification War, and I'm thinking maybe it's better if I shift that all, or at least the original argument to Highlanders. Because I've talked about, Barbaric Roar, and I talk about Earthshaker, it might be worth talking about the Great Mace, right? Because again, Earthshaker, Prayerful Strike, and I think there's one more. I don't remember what it is, though. Oh yeah, it's the, I think it's Golden Land? I think that's the one? Yeah, I think it's Golden Land. And don't you get Golden Land from the Ariza Hero's Grave? Am I crazy, or is that how that works? Dragon Wound Grease, of course. Given time issues, I don't think even pay attention to this or no. Oh yeah, sure, they obviously didn't, right? Like, I'm not saying they would, but I would think that, you know, considering, like, you know, I feel like that's a pretty, like, basic technology is something that will automatically, that you can like, put a setting so that way when you're dropping stuff around or whatever, you can automatically have something pinned. And if you don't want something to be, like, you know, done the way that the algorithm or whatever does it, you just turn it off and you, like, or you manually adjust it and it automatically turns off or what have you, right? Like, I just feel like something like that would have been, you know, invented at some point. But hey, what do I know? I'm not from software. I'm not a small indie dev team. Okay, yeah, and there's nothing else here. The only thing we'd want is to go back to, let me get myself somewhere where I'm not going to worry about enemies anymore. Got me. Do ready to go here. Smash. Hey, Andy. Smash. 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 Hey, Corey, there you are. Golden Land. Okay, so you get it from Deep Root Depths. Okay, okay, cool. Because I'm like, I know, I'm like, there's something that we get from, There's something we get like that from one of the areas in Altus, I remember, but I can't remember if it was Golden Land or another one. Must be another one. Or was it not Golden Land that I'm thinking of? Maybe I'm thinking... Oh, God, no, it has to be Golden Land, right? Whatever, whatever. I'll worry about it later. Why is it raining? No, seriously, why is it raining? Why is it raining indoors? America! You got a leak! America! Alright, we're gonna wear you. Ah, there you are. Sure, let's do the glory attire, why not? Oh, there you are. Ah, there you are. Mm-hmm. Alright. That's Endure, right? There we go. Would you marry Nishandra, Loki? No. Yeah, by the ends they give you Newman rooms? Yeah. That's Elden Stars. Oh shit, one of the rare shots where Loki's character is featured on screen. Yeah, I know, right? That's gonna be the idea. Is it still alive? I think it is. I don't think I've killed it yet. You get Holy Ground for the hero's grave? That's the one. I was like, there's one I get somewhere. God, you feel the weight. You feel the weight. And then you get on Tauren and magically the weight disappears. Thank you. Thank you, Goat Horse. Alright, and now we wait. And now we wait. Golden Shower. I don't think I'd want to get one of that as my Ashes of War or incantations if I was being real. I ain't praying for that, that's for sure. A little close. There we go. Eventually the fog will disappear, right? Right? Come on, baby. Come on, baby. I swear that damn bug better not ruin my shot somehow. Come on, baby. Darling? Darling? Yes, there you are. I'm still not happy with it. Let's try this. Ba-boo do 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 do. All right, let's look at the screenshots for that real quick. Wait. Did I not? Did I not press the button several times? Did I not do that, chat? Yeah, there we go. It is. Okay. Still doing this weird delay thing, I guess. Okay, so. Must be a Steam thing that's keeping that. Oh no, it's still doing the thing where it freezes up my game too. I have no idea what that's what's causing that then. That's not a system thing then. That's just the game. Do 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 do. Come on, come on. Eventually it'll show what we want. Eventually. That's a good one. I like that shot. That one's pretty nice. I could live with that. Let's see if the next one's any better. Come on. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not crazy about it, if I'm being honest. I'm not crazy about it. I don't remember. Am I crazy? Yeah, this is supposed to be Golden Land. Oh, this is Troy's Roar, though. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. Damn, too early. Damn. Damn. Come on, Caleb. Holy hell! Soon as we see it or hear it. That has to be an easier. I guess not. Damn, too early. Holy! It's mocking me. There we go. There we go! You do this with our buddy here, I'm pretty sure. Oh, God. Oh, God. Just slowly walk my way over. Ash War. Sure, Sacred, I don't care. Alright, let's get back now. Oh, actually first... Yeah, just so we can actually move. How does this work now? Alright, simple enough. Let's go to this bridge, then. Let's see if we can do anything cool here. I don't know, this kind of looks stupid. I don't know. I don't think this is working out. Nope. I'm trying to see if I can create the illusion as if the bridge is here, but nothing else that would be from modern Langdell is. But that's kind of hard when you've got this, this, and that, you know? Kind of gets in the way. Alrighty. But you... No, it's still not working. Oh. Of course. I like the idea. Maybe if we do it to this one. Okay, maybe that's the key. Let's see, maybe I can get away with it here. Even worse it seems. I feel like I have even less room to maneuver compared to here. Let me minimize this so you guys can at least see a bit more of the screen than me. I don't know. I feel like... I don't know. It feels like it's missing something. This doesn't look good. I like the idea, right? Like, barbarian man destroys great civilization of before, right? With the power of holiness. Power of God and anime on his side. But no, it does not work here. Oh, yay. Oh, yay. I'm not happy with this. I am not happy with this at all. Ay. How could they do this to me? Ugh. Yes? I mean, the rain is nice, I won't lie. But, okay, what if we do it like this? We're missing a goal. Now. Oh, maybe that's the trick. Maybe the trick isn't trying to see it as if it's trying to smash up the statue, but like it's doing it on top of it. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Too low. Has to be like something like this, maybe. Nah. Too small. Geez, the things I do just to give you guys some filler so it's not endless text. I really don't need to be getting this shot. I really don't. There we go. Alright. Alright. Over here. No, that's just gonna show under my skirt. I'm sorry, kilt. Very important distinction for a man, right? Hey, Grim. Can you explain what Arcane is supposed to represent? I currently only have AA, so, you know, DS1, I have no arc stat, no explanation, so as far as I've read at least. In the context of Bloodborne, well, it's very similar in Elden Ring, but, Arcane reflects a sort of spiritual centeredness, so it's not exactly like, it's not exactly mental or spiritual in the sense, it's not like mental like intelligence or spiritual in the sense of faith, so to speak, right? And faith almost has a physical aspect to it in Elden Ring's context. But it's basically about your sensitivity to the supernatural. That is essentially what a arcane is. Now, the term literally means a secret of God. So it's a term that you use to translate for divine mysteries, or sometimes even just generic mysteries, right? Like, you can just translate this as mysterious, right? Like in Dark Souls 1, this is the term that's translated as mystical, and it's used for terms related to God. So, like, Velka's power is a mysterious power of the quote-unquote arcane, I guess, if we want to go with the localizations term. Same thing with, say, like, a Gwendolyn, or something like that, right? Like, whenever you see in Abyssal Archive me using the term mysterious in connection to a god, That's usually the term I'm translating from, right? And in Dark Souls' context, it doesn't really mean much. It's just referring to the fact that, oh yeah, there's a secret of God. For example, dragon weapons. They have a mysterious power. That's, again, going back to this idea of, oh, this is a power that is known only to the divine, the gods, right? Because the gods fought the archdragons and all that, so they're very familiar with that power. But they also got the dragons to near extinction, so now that power isn't that well known, and you're lucky to see even a smidgen of it from the wyverns or whatever, right? So it's this mysterious power, right? In Bloodborne, obviously, mysterious is used much more widely for the supernatural in general that you see, right? That's where the arcane stat and stuff comes into play. And then in Elden Ring, it's more or less the same thing. It still has to do with the stars, the cosmos, you know, divinities in general. Like, for example, arcane stat connected to the Mask of Confidence with Radigan. Because Radigan is Marika, who is a god, and Radigan / Marika are trying to have all their affairs while Radigan's married to Renala be kept secret. Right? So naturally it increases the secret of God stat. So that's the best way to think about it, is that whenever you see arcane or occult as it's sometimes translated in Elden Ring, you're talking about the secrets of the gods, the divine mysteries, the knowledge that only deities know. All right. I've tried. Maybe one of these I'll really latch onto, but I really don't think so. I think these are all shit. I hate them. I think these are all shit. Actually, do I have the... I don't think I do, but do I... Could I possibly have that Ashopur? Yeah, I don't think I... Oh, wait, maybe? Okay, yeah, definitely not there. No, that's not it. That's Holy Ground. So put simply, 1/6 cents. To an extent, yes. That would be something analogous to it. Now, again, in the context, for example, of Bloodborne, the idea is that the arcane is not something that you can you obtain by pure reasoning, though that can be a component to it, right? And it's not something you get through pure blind faith, right? It's not something that you can, you just believe in. It's about, like, your personal inner enlightenment, your spiritual centeredness, and like I said, your sensitivity to the supernatural, right? Your ability to connect with that world on the other side, right? The paranormal. And that's sort of where the idea of the arcane comes from. And it's always, of course, connected to, again, the gods, the kami, everything that has to do with that supernatural world. Arcane also increases defense against holy damage in Elden Ring specifically, right? So, yeah. Because there's the connection between the arcane, the cosmos, the stars, and silver opposite gold. Hello. Gold is divine. I'm not seeing those tree banners get used outside that section with the banished knight equipment and all that, which is what I would expect. Yeah, and then it's the other banners. Yeah, green banners. Yes, the only place you really see them used is in the fortified manor, even, is in Marika's room. Yeah. Yeah, it's all the Sirach stuff otherwise, and then the green, yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, Pavley. Hello. I'm home. America? Darling America. Good old barbarian man. Here to cuck on Godfrey with you. Yeah, you got the banners here. And then, as I recall, you should have the other... Yeah, there's the other portrait here. Yeah. The other Godfrey portrait here, but no banners still. There's just America with the Erd tree. Got a little bit of Radigan there. More Sarash banners. And same in here, right? I can't even see what's happening in here. Yeah, you got the same thing here. May as well get a shot. Yeah, it's fine. I've come to think the saint statues below Stormvale and the weird boat burial there might have been practiced by the colonists in secret as a reference to the ancient dynasty ship coffins. The problem is there's the Erd tree roots and stuff down there, and it looks like it's just a you know, what's the word? Kind of a... I don't want to say bootleg per se, but, you know, kind of like a janky way of doing Erd tree burial, right? I think the fact that you have all the statues that they use for the chapels and stuff there as well definitely shows that it's definitely of the... And plus the statues you have of, like, you know, the America, Holy Veiled Woman statues there. All that kind of points to it just kind of being, like, just a really unconventional form of Erd tree burial given the very specific circumstances of where the roots are, right? God, every time I do this. Every time I do this, I'm ready to die hilariously. It won't be a Loki moment today. Yeah, see? These statues are unique, but these are the typical one with the veil and stuff. And then you got, where is it? There's the white, you know, the sage statues to go with there. And then, yeah. Some of those. Yeah, I see it, buddy. Yeah, I see. I see. Yeah, see, like, some of these, which are those up here. Although here in Stormvale, the winds have broken them all. God damn those winds. Hey, Magus. That said, it could be, I guess, influenced by some of the boat stuff, assuming that the colonies had any influence from the horn scent on that, right? Or maybe it comes from, maybe not ancient dynasties per se, but, general deathbird culture or whatever. Maybe. Oh, didn't notice? Yeah. Yeah, those statues. So see, like, you have the statues, then you have this, like, sort of temple complex thing. It's just a mess of architectural stuff they do, but, like, it's clearly supposed to be some kind of, like, you know, facility, right? And then you have the boats being dropped, and it has the catacombs, the, what's it called, ghost flame, torches and stuff, right? Then you get the ulcerated tree spirit, because these are roots which are, well, I think they might be inflamed with Godwin death. I don't know. Maybe I could be wrong, but something tells me they might be a little sick, these roots right now. Right? And then you get Godwin with his... which are totally supposed to be fly wings and maggot body thorns and stuff. Yep, these are totally supposed to be maggot fly winged little thorn briar things. Yep. Yes, sir. There's no way that you could mistake those for anything else. Certainly. That's what's got all those poor exile soldiers all infested. Along with half of this castle on top of it, right? It's definitely all supposed to be the Deathblight stuff. Was it anything else before in development? Oh, it's still there. I thought that was a hole. Wait a second. Did I see? Maybe am I crazy? Probably crazy. Okay, yeah, I'm crazy. I thought I could have saw the banner for a second there. But as we know, Elden Ring has never made mistakes in its game world ever. It has an amazingly consistent world building. No errors whatsoever. So in Kyrie, that Mesmer's riding and Sun mean that Mesmer is after Golden Lineage? I am skeptical of that currently. I'm not gonna say it's untrue. But I'm not someone who's necessarily in that camp. Maybe in the future that will be the case, but not yet. It's like, yeah, I know there's one of them somewhere in this room. It's like, I only see the dragon banners in my screenshots or whatever. I'm like, there's one of them somewhere in here. You also find these fleshy tentacles on Godwin's corpse proper. Yep, they totally didn't reuse the model for something else. Yeah, then there's just the Sirach stuff in here. Yeah. Yay! Yay! Red hair in South America? Yeah, the problem is that he's just heavily associated with fire and stuff, so the red hair is very easily explainable on that front. It would turn out even funnier if characters like Godric or something we learned when they were younger had red hair or something, and just tell us that, like, oh no, you see, it didn't matter if it was Marika or Radigan. The red hair just kind of seeped through. I don't think that's the case, by the way. I'm just saying that'd be super funny if that was the curveball they threw at us and just flipped everybody over. Alright. So let's see. What else could I possibly include for Highlanders? Okay, like I said, there's the Great Maze stuff that I want to look at, see where I can mention that, because clearly that's supposed to be connected with the wider barbarian lore thing they're talking about. You have a Riza Hero's Grave here. There's something with the items, I think. I do think the ship coffins come from the AD. The ones in, where is it? The ones here, I agree. As a cultural practice, I don't know. But in terms of just the stone coffin ship things, then yes, for sure. I would definitely agree with that. I think that is the most... I think that's probably the safest interpretation. As the lightning sphere on the Cerulean coast implies the zone is connected to the underground rivers, I think it's the end where the ships arrive. That is true. There is the frickin' lightning nymph thing or whatever. So that could always tie into all that. Yes, my favorite veiled statue. The thing with the... I don't think elevation is necessarily would be matter though there, because the point is that the AD is sending the ships over to join all the other stuff in Deathbird culture. So I don't think elevation plays a factor at all, because it's not a river or an ancient dynasty thing. Maybe it has maybe it's like leftover stuff from the ancient dynasty thing that came out of the coffins or something like that. That could be an interpretation. Yeah, I think there could be a lot there. I don't think we have to restrict it to thinking that, like, oh no, this is where the ancient dynasty settled. As I said before, I personally think that's the justification for these ruins. I think this was kind of like a shipyard slash dry dock type thing, and then they dropped the coffins in and had them sail down to the Cerulean coast. Oh, for a second I thought that was a grave thing. That's where Godwin stuff is. We don't care about that. We don't care about that. Yeah, and it's just otherwise Godwin things with the skeletons or whatever. I saw a theory that Briars of Sin were the thorny vines in Stormvale. Something about the tentacles of Godwin not matching with the vines on the wall. I don't know, maybe at Reach. I mean, that's... I'm not going to blame anyone from coming to that conclusion, because yes, as I was kind of, you know... As I was kind of, like, you know, sarcastically alluding to earlier, like... Yeah, it's very obvious that it's supposed to be the same stuff that would stab you, me, or Rajier when we get overwhelmed by the death stuff, the maggots with fly wings that make it look like briar thorns and stuff. But that's not what the models actually look like, and definitely not the same as what we see with the exile soldiers and stuff. When you know the content, you know why that is, because it was, in fact, something entirely different. But now they're recontextualizing all that to be like, no, you see the exile soldiers, it's all evidence of death infestation in the area. Which makes sense in the context of Castle Sol and stuff that they're doing there, as I've talked about in past streams. And, of course, in this context here with Stormvale, the Fringe Folk, Hero's Grave, where, of course, you know, Godric's Stormvale heroes would also be buried, and, like, you know, all that jazz, right? So, yeah, do I think it has anything to do with Briars of Sin? No. Unless it's, like, something thematic, maybe. Yeah, there's nothing else here. It's again, catacombs aren't really that... Catacombs beyond, like, the actual, like, you know, like, whatever the detail, like, the small details for the environment itself, and, like, one or two items there that you get there, there really isn't that much to characterize catacombs. They're pretty basic. Okay. Holy grease. Wow, I mean, wow, chat, like, I never would have guessed. Sorry, this is going over my head. I'm autistic. An aspect of autism is the absence of the abstract. No, that's fine. That's fine. That's totally okay. Anyway, so go back to what you were talking about. So more like a somewhat one achieving an understanding, comprehension, connection to some kind of cosmic divine nirvana, but on a more instinctual level. Yes, that's a good way to sum it up, Grim. When we're talking about the arcane, we are talking about something that very much has to do with sort of like your inner alignment with the cosmic, right? And of course that ties in, you could argue maybe it's specifically the greater will, like everything stems from the greater will, and so all of that ultimately goes back to the greater will or whatever with the arcane or what have you, right? But I would not go that far necessarily, because as I've said many times before, I have not thought too hard about the cosmology because I want someone else to do that for me. Please, someone else, solve this all for me so I don't have to do it again. I'm so tired of doing this. It's the most boring part of the lore for me. Oh, but it's so important. Ay. 1 second, chat. Dog wants some freedom. There we go. Oh, yeah. I am somewhat surprised to see these guys here, because I can't think of what purpose they would have here. Maybe helping Mikola? I don't know. These are just the normal ones, too. By the way, Fire Giant Whip refers to Radigan and red hair, so I don't know, maybe just connect the ideas here, but a red-haired child of America not being Radigan's child, who is also cursed. I'm on the red dad way. Oh yeah, I don't blame people for being on that wagon. I'm just not necessarily on the same boat, right? And that could change in the future. But right now, everything tells me that Mesmer is more likely to be Godfrey's child, like, by default, right? Unless there's the idea that, oh, you know, America secretly cheated on Godfrey, or maybe he's okay with the cucking. Or something like that somewhere down the line, and they had then these children or whatever, and it caused problems. Like, again, I'm totally amenable to that explanation or whatever. I'm just saying that, like, just looking at all the stuff that I've seen throughout the game, like, I didn't have something that made me go, oh yeah, this is definitely Radigan's kid. Right? Same with Melina. I would not look at Melina and Mesmer and be like, oh yeah, definitely Radigan's kids. Yeah, don't worry, you're getting your idea across. Anyway, there's nothing here that I care about. Let's get out of here. As I said before, Side Tomb is going to be for Radigan's reign, because it has to do with all the fundamentalism crap. So I don't care about the side tomb right now. Yeah, okay, nothing else in here either. This we don't care about. Haha, funny bears at the Ariza graves. Woo! Alright, silly Loki, where are we going now? Well, first... Man, I was feeling naked for a second there, wearing clothes. Oh, goodness me. Speaking of naked. Where are my weapons? Oh, there you are. I don't remember if this is how I had them actually arranged, but whatever it is now. This is how we do it now. We checked here, we checked here. I still need to include... Oh yeah, I forgot to include the rune. I gotta include the rune thing. Yeah, I gotta include that for the, you know, those who first served, the tree, blah, blah, blah. Maybe some demi-humans on the outskirts lose something from the from the barbarians. No idea for more ideas. Are we talking about... Are we talking about when I was talking about the Vulgar Militia? But Vulgar Militia aren't demi-humans, are they? Or are you talking about something completely else? Yeah, I'm not worried about like Mesmer or Melena's parentage at the moment. Mostly because it's just not, it's not a, what's the word? It's not a big, like, priority for me right now, right? Like, I've got other stuff on that, on the, you know, other parts of the Godfrey era that I'm focused on. And then, like, a lot of people, for some reason, really want me to do Radigan's Raid. I am very surprised that people want me to talk about the Age of Peace and Prosperity, where basically nothing happens. Yeah, who the hell wants to read analysis about this fuck? Not about the barbarians in general. I see. So you're talking about the ones at Lux? No, the Lux are more connected to yeah, the demi-humans there are more about connecting the Lux to the astrologer culture population migration. So in case of Lux, it's probably people from Lascar who started tracing the source of the glintstone that's accumulated down here in Liurnia's river network. You know, now the lake. And then they trace it up and they're like, oh yeah, over here, and then they built a settlement right here to watch over it, right? Also have these little buildings down here so they could also do their observations more easily, you know? You could just imagine them having, like, some system of, like, pulleys or whatever, like, down here, or have you. Interact with the Wyndham over there as well, right? Make it all simple there. But yeah, those are just, Oh, you know what I actually do want to look at? This actually is kind of important. I'm curious how common it is. I was noticing this when looking at Lux images earlier. Because you see a lot of trees that are growing inside the ruins proper, right? And I'm wondering how consistent that is with this idea that the ruins have been long abandoned versus, like, okay, you got Wyndham here. So already that kind of, yeah, you got, yeah, okay, you get bushes and trees, like, everywhere, okay. So it's not that consistent, then. It's probably true for most ruins. I was kind of curious, I was like, I wonder if there could be a, a lot of overlap there. Like, let's see, Wyndham. No, sorry, not Wyndham, Rifeblood. Would you say Velka and Ronnie are similar in any way? Both got the mysterious witch thing going for them. I would say Ronnie is someone who's like, you know, I would definitely say Ronnie is treated as more naive, inexperienced, than Velka, but she definitely has a certain cunning to her, right? Like, there's like some areas where they overlap, but I would say generally speaking, they're definitely very different characters. What? like, see, this area is a lot more... Ah, no, there's still, like, a bush tree thing in here and here. So, yeah, there's a little bit of that. So, yeah, I think it's just something I don't think they pay too much attention to it then. The same person, obviously. Everyone is Velka. Rodney is Velka. Isleth is Velka. Gwyn is Velka. They're all Velka. Godfrey is Velka. Everyone is Velka but America. Because obviously Radigan is America, duh. I mean, you're not going to see many trees here because, well, it's kind of all Kayla-ed out, you know? It's been rotted. Yeah, nothing relevant here or here. I want to check this out real quick. 1 second. Let's look over here. Let us see. Let's see. Go to Elden Ring. Menu graphics. Let's look at... Is it Incantations or... I think it's Ashes of War, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Ashes of War. Alright, so... Oh, no, that's the wrong thing for you guys to be looking at. There we go. Right? Yeah, like, I just added this to Godric because I'm like, oh, wait, that's actually... I thought I talked about this somewhere, but I didn't, so I included it because I'm like, yeah, that weapon thing is really notable. Yeah, we got that. I think it's like the war axe you get as a champion character, or whatever the class is called. But Radigan is Velka, just America. I was thinking Rodney filled that role of pulling strings in the background. Yeah, you could definitely put something like that, right? But again, they're very different characters. Maybe there's some overlap. I don't know how much of that is like Miyazaki influencing Martin on his own, witches, the whole, witches pulling the strings from the background while like being like, ah, yes, I'm so mysterious and act confident in everything. Like that's very much a trope, so. Are Velka and Gwendolyn working together? Yes, as far as law enforcement for the gods is concerned. I don't know if that still is true as of Dark Souls 3's era. Because it seems like Velka's priesthood more or less has collapsed. At the very least, has no presence in DS3 compared to past games. I should probably read your theses. It probably answers this and more. Your Demon Souls theses explains so much, lol. Yeah, I would agree. If you buy my book, Abyssal Archive, you'd get a pretty good understanding of DS1, and then you can read on my website the DS2 and 3 stuff, and you'd have, like, 98% of it covered. I need to do that update to Alkin and Ven, hopefully. That'll be the second half of this month, once we get the current updates to the Elden Ring stuff done, I'm not seeing anything that really sticks out to me as an... Oh, that's obviously... Wow, what a shocker. Stormveil armament for Stormveil stuff. Yeah. That's a surprise. I do not remember this. Is this an Ice Ash of War? Like, is this a Ronnie one? I don't recall it. Yeah, there's our Mace Boy. There's another one of our Mace Boy for Earthshaker. And then there's this one. Right? That's the one that, yeah, that's the other one that we have to get. Yeah, and then this stuff is basic weapons. I'm pretty sure that is a Godskin weapon. Is this one of the weapons that the Night Cavalry use? I actually don't recall. Oh, AA isn't online? I mean, it would suck for my publisher if it was just online. So no, it is not. Da-da-da. That one I'd have to ask that you please give me your money. Yeah, basic shields, not crazy there. That is funny, it's using this shield. I never noticed that before. This is for just basic parry, too. I mean, this I kind of makes sense because they just want to show an upgraded version of the parry, right? So they didn't pay too much attention to the shield, but I just find it funny. Because I'm like, isn't this something you get, like, from Bernal and Stormhill or whatever, which would explain why that shield is used specifically? It's just so funny to me. Yeah, they have a Storm version here. It's the Nazgul one. So yeah, it is a Night Cavalry thing then. Yeah, they got one. Wow, they do it for everything. Even this is the one you get from Capital Outskirts, right? From that scarab that's on by the main gate. That's probably a reference to the second defensive Lingdell then. Then you got this one with the shield. Yeah, that's fair. I will. Yeah. Don't worry, you can get it for cheap if you get the digital copy. It's like $20 or something. I don't know. Inflation, inflation and stuff is always changing, so. I mean, the price used to be like $15, but then, like, it's been a few years and that changed, so who knows. They tried to flatten it to make it into a basic shield. Yeah, they did, right? Like, that's why I didn't recognize it at first. I was like, what shield is that? I don't recall a shield that has, like, a subtle design to it. But then I look closer, I'm like, oh, it's that, it's that design. Then you got the Stomps. Stomps don't have any weapons or anything to it. Got the Knight stuff. Yeah, they have the gravity one here, too. Ah! Ah! Bless me, chat. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Oh, nice. I want the Demon Souls book, too. Yep. Now, again, fair warning, the Demon Souls one is very similar to my website content, because the website content came first and then was compiled into the demonic archive. So, like, just know, like, again, you can essentially get the same content for free on my website. But again, if you like my content, I would love if you help support me so I can keep making more. I can continue to justify the absurd amount of time I put into these games. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I didn't realize they actually showed the blood. Oh, pretty basic. Yeah, these are just basic arms and stuff. Like, I'm not gonna focus too hard on that. That's not the Grand Mace, is it? Okay, so that's everything. There really isn't that much for weapon-specific stuff to talk about. Like, the only other one I think is kind of noticeable is... Where is it? Or is it earlier? I think I passed it. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe I'm crazy. That's a basic sword thing. Yeah, here we go. Is this one with the katana? But that's only because I think it was Xavier who said before that the Radon Redmane soldiers do a similar move. Which again makes sense, you know. They're staying here in Caelid. They learn stuff from the local samurai as they come ashore. I did read that already online, so I wouldn't mind supporting. Yeah, again, you know, every cent I appreciate from you guys. I know back, you know, way back when I did the donation page, but I got rid of that because, you know, I didn't feel it was right for you guys to just, like, donate stuff for me for free, even though you guys were always so generous. Because, you know, I'd rather you guys pay for my book, right? Because, you know, I know people would be like, you get less of a percentage or whatever from, because, you know, publisher takes them. It's like, yeah, but the publisher then publishes me more. Like, the reason why there's a softcover version of Abyssal Archive now is because you guys supported me and the publisher so much with Abyssal Archive and stuff. Like, and that's the type of thing that I really appreciate, is the fact that you know, it's not just you guys, you know, as they always say, you know, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime, you know? Just the fact that you're able to kind of support an apparatus so I can just continually get some, income, and you guys get some value of, like, you know, having, like, an awesome book, either digital or audiobook by Vati, or, you know, whatever, or the physical copy you get to put on your shelf, right? Like, it's just super nice that you guys get to have something in exchange for everything you're giving me, and it's still, like, super valuable to me, because I get a lot. Also, I've heard you reference in vids how the outer gods are essentially kami. I have not. To clarify, I've talked about how yes, the term for god is kami. But usually when I talk about the gods and kami, it's usually me poo-pooing using the term kami. I personally do not like this. I don't blame people who want to use it, but I personally do not like doing it. Because I think it's one of those things where it's like someone trying to, it's someone trying to be like kind of more wider accepting by trying to be like, oh, you see, this thing is different from how we think of gods, which is true, right? If you're thinking of it from like a Judeo-Christian centric view of God and the divine and stuff. But I still think it's very narrow, because even just looking at biblical and stuff and how it deals with Elohim is very important. And like, let's say the kami in Japan are very similar to the Netcher in Egypt, which are again also we call them the Egyptian gods, even though it doesn't just refer to the big gods like Horus or Set or Osiris and stuff like that, but also gods like little like annoying like spirits that like infest your home and things like that. Things we might consider like gnomes if we were talking about British folklore or something like that, right? It's just one of those things where I find that personally, I feel like you just call them gods. Like why are we being so like conceited or elitist about it? Like we all have different terms to refer to the supernatural or whatever and how we define it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, with explaining how different cultures envision the idea of the divine or the supernatural differently. Anyway, but to the point about the outer gods, yes, the outer gods are outer kami, technically. Would you say there's still some Lovecraft influence or overlap? I mean, they're cosmic beings of unimaginable power which inflict horrors upon the lands with which they influence, so... I mean, in that sense, I would say, sure? I mean, my current conception of outer gods is that they tie somehow to stars. That they're either, like, they either are certain stars, kind of like the moons, or, something to that effect. Now, I could be wrong on that. It could be that outer gods and the stars are, like, distinct entities, right? Yeah, nothing here that I care about. It's nothing related to barbarians either. We got the stuff here. We got the stuff here. We don't care about that. We got the ruin stuff. We don't care about anything there. There's nothing over here. We got the shot of the scarab there. So outer force or force of nature or cosmic beings play chess. My interpretation, I should say, yeah, my impression when I was playing the base game was that the outer gods seemed to me more like cosmic entities which are also one with a aspect of nature. So like the rot god would theoretically be an embodiment of the rot, so it sort of is the rot itself, right? And this idea of the rot goddess who like incarnates in like different forms and things like that, that's more like an avatar, right? And that seems to be the idea that there's this sort of immortal, essential god that embodies that element of the cosmic order, right? And then, from there, it becomes limited by sort of like the different aspects of the Elden Ring and all that stuff with the cosmology. But as I've said before, I don't know the cosmology enough to say for certain if that is true. And I don't think it's ever become relevant enough into my analysis to ever need to think more about it. So, again... I am not the person you should be going to for like deep dives into the cosmology of this universe. I'm just not there. I am a neophyte, or honestly, I would hesitate to even call myself a neophyte. But I'm pretty close to approaching there. I think I've almost got enough understanding that I can consider myself a beginner in Elden Ring knowledge. But yeah, there's still a lot I don't know. So, my guess is as good as probably any other content creator out there who's probably talked about the subject. Like I said earlier, like, I know a lot of people like to kind of jump onto the kami look and this idea of, like, kami being close to nature, and a lot of gods in Japanese Shintoism and stuff sort of being, like, either embodiments of the nature or derivative from there or being closely associated and all that stuff, right? And I can see definitely elements of that playing into it, but I don't know for sure. No, you're not connected either. Yeah, this would all be fringe folk stuff. So, all right, so I've got most of the shots that I want to get for Altus Unification. I've covered most of the stuff that I would want for Giant War done now. Erdtree's Beginning needs a lot of work still. Like, I'm probably going to rearrange stuff. I have to also figure out how to include the Gelmir thing. I could see that getting cut in the future. Like, I could totally see the Dominula stuff getting cut and Snake, like, sort of all the whole Snake Pagan thing becoming its own separate thing. For now, though, I think it's better if I just keep it in Erdtree's Beginning and could tie it into the whole America culture thing when talking about her village. My current revision, I'm already talking about the shamans and stuff. We already have shots of the village anyway, so I could probably use shots of that and the trees. Remember that being referenced by Smowtown, that's why. Not sure if it's dated. I'm sure some of Smowtown's content is dated, because we watched a vid the other day by him that was just a clip from his old astrologer video, and that was really dated. I don't know. I have to go. I want to get Smowtown's book. I really want to purchase and support him with that. So I'm probably going to get a copy of that, and I'm probably going to go through it and probably annotate it or whatever, because there might be a lot of stuff that Smowtown got that I have not learned yet, and I would love to see if he's updated his analysis at all since when he originally put up those videos. I would assume so for the book, right? I would hope it's his most up-to-date thoughts on everything. But I don't know, because I know that he was kind of doing it around the same time that, like, the DLC was also, like, coming out and stuff like that, so I don't know how much of the manuscript was still in the works by that point. And then he was, like, sort of, like, planning to, like, do, like, updates just for the DLC, like, on top of his existing stuff, or how much that was going to change or whatever. Like, for me, like I said, you won't be seeing an Elden Ring book from me, that's for sure, anytime soon. I'm not confident. I'm not confident I could come out with a comprehensive, you know, analytical work for you guys on Elden Ring at this juncture. Ask me again in 10 years, maybe. Ah! Yeah, and this is just basic Swordvale stuff. Yeah, there's nothing really I can find or add that would be relevant here. So, what we got is the moats. We got the graveyard here. We got the bridge here. We got the hero's grave, of course. We got the fortified manor. Is there anything maybe about the fortified manor I'm missing? We'll do one more run through here real quick. See if there's anything I could have forgotten about. Nothing really that crazy. Oh, you know what I want to do so we don't waste stupid stones? Yeah, let's just have that. Game. Oh my god. Are you done? There we go. Come on. Hello? Let's see. Really? Fine. I'm plugging. Yeah, Smoke, Quaylak, and TA are my sources, plus the games themselves, lol. I mean, yeah. I mean, those are probably the biggest creators in the space besides, like, Vati or someone, right? So. No? Like, why is this not working? Don't tell me the wire's busted now. I mean, it's making sound, so. Hello? There we go. There we go. Alright, so, tree. America with tree. Nothing crazy here. More tree with the capital. As I recall, this was a tarnished item loot, so we got the Erdtree stuff here. I never realized there were banners here, actually. Huh. I guess it makes sense. They're already... I might want to include a reference of that in the future. Yeah, something like this. I like that. I could maybe center it a bit more like that. Maybe something like that a little bit more. and raise it a little. Yeah, there's a lot of content creators in the space, that's for sure. No shortage of people to hear opinions from, right? I don't actually remember if this is all like this in the Fortified Manor before. I will say, though, it's kind of... what's the word? Kind of unseemly that you go through here to go upstairs, but, like, you kind of just have all this food storage stuff just kind of out and about, and, like, it has to pass through here to get to the dining. Like, I don't know, it feels like the smart design for this would be to have this be, like, a separate doorway here, and there'd be a side chamber for this over here instead, but hey, I'm not a farm colonist, so, you know, who am I to criticize their genius Norman design? Okay, my last question, I feel bad getting answers for free. Don't be, it's fine. I mean, that's what I stream here for. Fear of the Old Blood. Where does the Old Blood come from? How do I answer this? Okay, so the actual term Old Blood only appears one place. Like, the actual term, like, the word, like, that you would use for old, like, furui. That term is only used once in the entire Bloodborne script. And that is by the Yosefka's imposter, right? The imposter Yosefka. She uses that term casually when talking about how it's like, okay, well, for my next experiment, I'm going to use Old Blood. Right? Nascent butterflies. So Old Blood is generally supposed to refer to blood from the tombs of the Chalice dungeon and stuff like that. So you're supposed to go to the underground ruins, the labyrinth. But when we're talking about stuff like Willem or whatever, the term he uses isn't Old Blood per se. He uses a different term that means something like, from before, from beginning, from like start, right? So it's it's a term that sort of more so is about denoting a range of time. Like I've been working at my job since the start, right? Or something like that. Like if I said something like that, it's like, okay, it's not just talking about like my job. It wasn't just my job at the beginning point of a period, right? Like at some early period. I'm talking about something that is true, that has been true throughout the entire course from whatever that arbitrary beginning point is, right? So when we're talking about like sort of like fearing the Old Blood, it's not just about Old Blood, it's about blood in general. Old blood, new blood, blood anyway, right? Like, blood of a blood saint, of a modern blood saint who is alive and giving her present-day blood, is as much of a concern as, say, the blood of a great one that you uncover in a coffin, 5 levels down deep, right? Both are a concern because ultimately the issue is not Old Blood per se, the issue is blood, right? Old Blood is more potent, right? When you have blood of the great ones and stuff like that, those in the tombs, the blood that hasn't been exposed to sunlight and stuff. All that certainly has an effect on making it more dangerous, but it's not just about that blood, which is why you'll see in, like, say, song lyrics and stuff, it's very clear that when Miyazaki was having that translated from Japanese to English to Latin, he wasn't using terms like Old Blood or whatever. You'll see references just fear the blood or fear blood and stuff like that in there. Because again, it's much like, always fear flame in Dark Souls 1, right? When Kuei Lana used that term, right? Because it's about a maxim. It's not just about fearing, flame, modern flame, ancient flame, flame from like 2 weeks ago versus 20 years ago or whatever. The point is to fear flame. And the same thing here. The point is ultimately you have to fear the blood. Blood from any period, any point. It's something dangerous because it is something that, as Willem talks about, it's the thing that defines you and makes you human and will ultimately make you lose your humanity. Are there any signs of war damage on the manor? Not specifically war damage, no. Yeah, then this is different from the round table hold version, right? Because the round table hold is optimized to be like, you know, the finger maiden's little corner, right? Well, this one is more generically like, you know, Godfrey looking while he's learning how to be civilized. He's looking over at the wife. He's like, remember what you're learning for. It's like, forget what you're fighting for. He's got that down pat. Remember what you're learning for. You have to learn how to read, Godfrey, in order so you can get that good old snoogie with the white missus. Very important. Let's see. I see. I also thought that like a generalization of old blood, not from a specific source. Yeah. But generally speaking, if when we're talking about like, you know, what is the most concerning blood, the most potent blood would definitely be like the old blood, because that's, you know, just the circumstances of how much corruption is in the blood, by thanks to the Tumerians and others and what they've done down there. So like that's just kind of like a default. All right, we get to do our wonderful. Here. Let's see, can I cheat this? Damn. Damn. I can kind of do it, but it's not that expansive, unfortunately. Yeah. I think I have to switch characters if I want to look in here more. I feel lied to! There are no windows here! I've been lied to! It's funny, because these are like the windows you see in Dark Souls 1, and they make those like little doors for the people living there. Yeah, it's just the Sirach stuff, the typical farm colonist stuff, and then you have like the two Erdtree banners and like the Erdtree relief thing in them. Oh no, it's the two Erdtree reliefs and then the Erdtree banner in the middle. I forget. Wait, is this? No. This isn't, is it? I don't think so. Yeah, okay, this isn't it. For a second, I was like, this isn't the Stars and Cuckoo rug, is it? No, it's a different one. Good. Still Dark Souls 3 doors, though. Yeah, okay. That opens it up a lot more instead of forcing me. Yeah, don't box yourself in when it comes to the blood and stuff. You have to think of it more expansively, for sure. Again, old blood always will be the most potent, right? But it's not like, oh, new blood is like not a concern. Like, there's nothing special about like old blood intrinsically, right? It's just the fact that it's been around a while, and you could theoretically have some ancient immortal who has like built up so much corruption or something like that, right? But as we can see with the characters like Annalise or whatever, like that doesn't stop modern people from collecting that corruption and doing the same to themselves in the present day, right? Yeah, no signs of war damage here. It doesn't even have any ash on it. For some reason, it was immune from all the ash, I guess. It fell everywhere, except on the actual fortified manor. The power of farm colonist technology! Not even ash can possibly assault this place. Oh, God. Erdtree also was like, yeah, I'm not going to drop anything here either. It's like this giant canopy. And it manages to just hit very select parts. Oh god, this is hideous. Ay. Anything over here that I care about? Not really. Oh, we still have the Radigan statue there. Yeah, we have these there. We have that there. I'm probably going to rearrange some stuff on finger readers and things, because I also want to talk about finger maidens. And other stuff related to finger maidens, like the, you know, the dudes that don't get to become finger maidens, so they become, like, evangelists or whatever. Yeah, I'm going to have to include that probably somewhere. More work. It never ends, chat. It never ends. Elden Ring is just one giant black hole that continues to suck up all my time. I need to finish Dark Souls 2! Ah! God, I need to stop letting Elden Ring get me by the ballsack. Ay. Yeah, different dusk. Wonderful little scrolls and crap. Our favorite little lever here. Let's go down here. Yeah, nothing new here, nothing new there. Okay, yeah, none of these banners have the rays like we see in the Ariza hero's grave. So yeah, they take the imagery. Yeah, so you have the rays here. Oh my god. On their capes with the Erdtree cross symbol. Hello, Radigan spirit thing. No, you're a terrible example. You're in shadow. There has to be a better guy around here. Oh, maybe Pagan Quarter has something that I missed. I should double check there, yeah. Got all the dogs here. Where are these there they are. Yeah, and it's the same image. Okay, yeah, so I'm not crazy. Yeah, they don't use the ray thing together. Is Aldrich evil or misunderstood? He's both. No one understands actual Aldrich lore, but he is most definitely not a nice guy. Okay, yeah. Go to Pagan Quarter. Oh, wait, I can't go from here. Actually, where is this? Where is this dead end? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Ah, chat! Forget wireless headset. I also need to get a wireless controller. I think I still have the add-on for the old one, so I might have to use that. Ah, I hate that I dropped this. I hate that just dropping these things makes this crap happen. Because I love these controllers so much. Honestly, it's pretty far out, all things considered. Yeah, if you told me, I wouldn't have thought it was this deep in. Cannibals are always good guys, what do you mean? Yeah! Just look at Andy and Lele. They're the most virtuous people I know. Good old Andrew and Ashley. Okay. There we go. Proper control again. Hello? Goodbye. Alright, just gonna speed my way over here. Speaking of Andrew and Ashley, here's our wonderful enablers. Viva la revolution! Isn't that right, my perfumers? Righting the injustices of the past. My wonderful self-hating perfumers. Lol. They don't have the banners here. I have to go, thanks again. No problem, Grim. I'm probably going to be finishing up now anyway. Probably going to be finishing up right about now. Because, yeah, we just have the sleeping stuff happening here. It doesn't look like there's anything else on the details I can add. I already covered all the relevant Pagan Quarter stuff in the past. Man, it's amazing how everything else got covered in Ash, but the planners are fine. Bull. Alright, there we go. Alrighty. I think that's it, chat. I think I've covered everything I possibly could to double check that there isn't anything I'm missing. Tomorrow will probably be a coffin stream. I hopefully will feel more energized for it tomorrow. I don't know what came over me, but I've been feeling very sluggish today, so hopefully I'll get over whatever funk has got me. And there's lower quarter just down here. Yep. Yay! Yay! Uh-huh. Yep-a-rooney. Yeah, okay, that covers pretty much everything I want. Alrighty then. Coolio. Hey, Nox boy. See ya, guys. Bye-bye.